Hello children, hope you all are doing well. Thanks to God for giving us strength to keep going. In our previous class we have learned the nationalism in Europe, in which we learned how nationalism emerged all over Europe, how union territories they got unified, how national governments they got formed. We learned that it was a process which took many decades, wars and revolution, ideological battles and political conflicts. Nationalism in Europe, it was associated with the formation of nation state. It also meant a change in people's understanding of who they were and defined their identities and a sense of common belongings. New symbols and icons, new songs and ideas, they forged new links and redefined the boundaries of communities. Now, today we shall be learning with our lesson, Nationalism in India. In this lesson, we'll be mainly learning that how nationalism movement was led by the great leader Mahatma Gandhi. As well, we'll be learning the aspirations and the activities of the ordinary people. We'll see how nationalism was expressed in the small events of everyday life, and we'll also learn that how nationalism was spreaded by the leaders, how it was expressed and how it was understood and interpreted by the common people. We'll also learn that how nationalist sentiments were nurtured by writers, by the artists through their art, through their literature, poems, songs and tales. Let's start with the lesson. India was one of the developed and the powerful nations in the world. It had a share in world's economy for about 24 to 25%. And as you know children, it was ruled by different dynasties like Gupta Empire, the Golconda Empire, the Delhi Sultanate, the Marathas, the Mughals. Okay, so different rulers, they ruled over India and it was one among the prosperous countries. As being the prosperous and a richer country, people from different countries wanted to have a trade relationship with India. And we have also learned in our previous class that how people from different countries, especially from the Western countries, they were in a search of sea routes towards India. And these people from the Western countries were the French, the British, the Dutch, the Portuguese. Now these people, children, after coming to India as traders, they became rival to each other. For the struggle of power to occupy the whole of India, these Europeans, they themselves started having wars and struggles between each other. And finally, Britain, they emerged victorious and transformed themselves from a trading company to an imperialist nation who ruled India for nearly 200 years. Britishers, through their wars, through their conquests, different policies, different settlements, they occupied the whole of India. Each sections of the country, they got exploited. From the position of king, the soldiers, the police, the common people, the weavers, the artisans, the peasants, even the tribal groups, they all got exploited. And each of them, they revolted against the Britishers, but they were brutally crushed by them. And then there was a revolt, the revolt of 1857, which was a failure. Now why it was a failure? The reason was there was lack of coordination, it was not well organized, and even there were some educated Indians who did not wanted Britishers to be out from India. They wanted Britishers to be for some more years so that they can gain learning from among them. And some of the Indians, they were loyal also. The revolt of 1857 is often termed as the first war of independence because the different sections in Indian society joined together to oppose the Britishers. Though 1857 revolt was a failure, but still the heroic and patriotic struggle made by the Indians, it inspired the people, those who later joined the freedom struggle. In India, the modern period began with the establishment of British rule under East India Company. The Britishers, they brought modern education thinking that Indians would become good subjects under them. Even some British officials, they started reading, learning the Indian culture and heritage. They wanted to please Indians, they wanted to win the hearts of individuals. but indirectly it started awakening the common people, and it started instilling a sense of pride among the Indians. There was development in transport, communication. It was done for the better movements of goods and services, as well as for the better administration in the country. The invention of printing press helped in consolidating and mobilizing the countrywide opinions on major issues on national interest. The railways, the postal system, the transport, the telegraph, they all united the different parts of the country and promoted the feeling of nationalism. Now, because of the lack of the developments, the 1857 revolt, it was a failure. But now, though the Britishers have brought all these developments for their own convenience, for the better administration, but it indirectly helped the Indians to be united, to work for a common cause. Educated Indians were the first, those who had the feeling of humiliation. Now they started questioning against the unjust policies of the Britishers. They were awakened by reading the revolutions made in America, made in France, and now they wanted to oppose the British policy. To discuss political matters against the British policies, different political associations started getting developed in different parts of the country. And thus, in December 1885, the Indian National Congress was born, an organization which led the freedom struggle. The first meeting of Congress was organized by British official Ellen Octavian Hume and 72 delegates from all over India. And it starts working. Children, the nationalist movement from 1885 to 1905, it was dominated by the leaders called moderates. The moderates trusted the Britishers and believed that Indians have to still learn from the Britishers. Their only demand was to have more and more representations in the legislative councils, as well as they wanted the Indians to receive higher posts in the government service. The important leaders among the moderates were Dadabhai Nauroji, Gopal Krishna Gokhale, and many more. Unwillingness and denial of the important needs of the moderates disappointed many people from among the Congress, and a group arose from within the Congress. They were called extremists, and these people, children, they wanted Indians to be fearless, self-reliant, strong. They deeply hated Britishers. Their main goal was to receive Swaraj, and these people, they were extremists. The extremist time period was from 1905 to 1950. The important leaders from among them were the Lala Lajpat Rai, Bal Gangadhar Tilak, Bipin Chandra Pal, and many more children. In order to weaken the Indian national movement, the Britishers played the game of divide and rule, which led to the formation of Muslim League in the year 1906, which separated the Hindus and Muslims. Moderates had a deep respect towards the Britishers, while the extremists, they had a deep hatred towards the Britishers. The differences in policies and methods finally brought a split between the two, which happened in the Surat session of the National Congress in the year 1907. Now the Congress remained under the control of moderates, and the extremists, they were excluded, which was favorably liked by the Britishers. Now the Britishers, they enacted an act which was known as Indian Council of Act, which was also known as Morley Minto Reforms. Now in the year 1909, now this act was brought to please the moderates by increasing the number of candidates in the legislative council. Children, Indian national movement is studied in different phases: the moderate phase, extremist phase, and the Gandhian phase. Children, moderate and extremist phase we have already studied in the previous classes. That is why only an introduction was given to you. Now you will be studying mainly in this lesson about the Gandhian phase. Now let's start with the first unit of ours, that is the First World War, the non-cooperation, and the Khilafat movement. Let's start with it. About World War I, we have already learnt in our previous class. The World War I broke out in the year 1914 between two powers, the Allies and the Central Powers. Who were the Allies? Britain, Russia, France, Italy and United States, and Central Powers, Germany, Austria, Hungary and Ottoman Empire. Now, when the World War broke out, the Indian nationalists, they decided to support the British government in a hope that the British government will bring major political reforms in India after the World War. Now let us understand what were the effects of World War in our country. The war created a new economic and political situation. It led to a huge increase in defense expenditure, which was financed by war loans and by increasing taxes. The prices was doubled between 1913 to 1918. There was an extreme hardship among the people. Custom duties were raised and income taxes were introduced. The villages, they were called upon to supply soldiers. The forcibly recruitment as soldiers, it caused anger among the villagers. And in some part of the country, there was acute shortage of food. Crops failed in many parts of India, resulting in acute shortage of food, which was accompanied by influenza epidemic, an infectious disease which was spreaded all over India. According to the census of 1921, it was found 12 to 13 million people, they perished because of famine and epidemic. People, they had a hope that after the war, that extreme hardships would come to an end. But this did not happen. Only one positive thing that happened in the year 1916 was the extremists and the moderates. They reunited in the Lucknow session of the Congress. Even the Muslim League and the Congress, they signed the Lucknow Pact in 1916 and decided to present common demands before the Britishers. Thus we have learned, children, after World War I, there was no improvement shown by the Britishers. Only two positive developments took place. That was moderates and extremists, they reunited, and the Muslim League, they joined the Congress. Now let us start with a new topic of ours, that is Satyagraha. Yes, children, Mahatma Gandhi, he led the movement known as Satyagraha. Mahatma Gandhi had returned to India in the year 1915 in January month. He had come from South Africa, where he had fought against the racist regime with a novel method of mass agitation called Satyagraha. The idea of Satyagraha emphasized the power of truth and the need for search for truth. And if the cause is true, there is no need to use the physical force to fight the oppressor. Without being aggressive, a Satyagrahi could win the battle through non-violence. And this could be done by appealing to the conscience of the oppressor. People, including the oppressors, had to be persuaded the truth instead of being forced to accept the truth. Mahatma Gandhi believed that the truth ultimately wins, and the struggle of non-violence could unite all the Indians. Now let us learn the three early Satyagrahi movements organized by Mahatma Gandhi. In the year 1915, he returned to India from South Africa. In 1916, this was the first Satyagrahi movement undertook by Mahatma Gandhi. He went to Champaran in Bihar, where he inspired the peasants to struggle against the oppressive plantation system. Then in 1917, he organized a Satyagraha in the Kheda district of Gujarat, where the peasants, they were struggling, they were affected by the crop failure and the epidemic plague. There the peasants, they demanded the relaxation in revenue collection. Then in 1918, Mahatma Gandhi went to Ahmedabad to organize a Satyagraha amongst the cotton mill workers. And all these Satyagraha movements were successful. Seeing all these movements which were going against the Britishers were very annoyed. And in the year 1919, hurriedly they passed out an act which was known as Rowlatt Act. According to this act, they could imprison any person without any trial. Indians strongly opposed this act and called out this act with hatred as Black Act. Emboldened with the success Mahatma Gandhi, which he received in the three Satyagrahi movements, he thought of they decided to launch a nationwide movement against the roulette. This act had been hurriedly passed out by the Imperial Legislative Council despite the united opposition of the Indian members. This act gave the government an enormous power to repress the political activities which goes against them, as well as allowed them to imprison the prisoners without any trial for 2 years. Now here trial means they were not allowed to be present before the court. Now Mahatma Gandhi, he opposed against this unjust law, and now he wanted to have a nationwide movement against them, and which was going to be started with an hartal on 6th April. Now let us see how this roulette satyagraha was organized. Different rallies were organized in various cities. Workers went on strike in railways. The shops, the workshops, they were closed down. Now seeing the uprisings, the Britishers, they were scared of that any time the communication lines such as railways and telegraphs would be disrupted. Now they decided to clamp down the nationalists, and the police, they started picking up the local leaders from Amritsar, and Mahatma Gandhi was barred from entering Delhi. And here the Britishers did not stop, and on 10th April the police fired upon a peaceful procession which was going on, which provoked the satyagrahis, and in return they attacked on government buildings, the police stations, the banks and the post offices. And by seeing this violent attacks, martial law was imposed. And do you know the meaning of martial law, children? Martial law means the military rule, where the military rules at the time of trouble. And General Dyer, he took the command over this. On 13th April, the infamous Jallianwala Bagh massacre took place. And on this particular day, a large number of crowd, they have enclosed in the grounds of the Jallianwala Bagh. And many from among these crowds, they had come for to protest against the new repressive measures taken by the government. But some of the villagers, they had come to attend the Baisakhi festival, the annual Baisakhi fair. And now children, but some were there, those who were unaware of the martial law that had been imposed. Now according to the martial law, people could not collect anywhere to raise their voices against the Britishers. Now so listening to it, seeing that the people had gathered over there in the Jallianwala Bagh, the General Dyer, he came over there, the exit was blocked and opened fire on them. He opened fire on them, which killed hundreds of people. His main objective for doing this was to terrorize the Indians so that they could not raise voices further. Now let us see what was the effects of this Jallianwala Bagh massacre. Now hearing to this, when the news was spread all over, the people, they came over the streets to protest against the Britishers. There were strikes, clashes with the police and attacks on the government buildings, banks, post offices, police stations. Seeing this, the Britishers, in return, they responded with brutal repression by humiliating and terrorizing these satyagrahis. The satyagrahis, they were forced to rub their noses on the ground, they were made to crawl on the streets, and even they were made to salute to all the officers of theirs. Even the people, they were flocked towards their villages, and even the villages, they were bombed. Now seeing the violent spread, Mahatma Gandhi had to call off the movement. Now this roulette satyagraha was dismissed by Gandhiji. Now children, though the roulette satyagraha, it was nationwide, but it could not spread the all parts of the country. It was limited to some parts only. Now Mahatma Gandhi wanted some more wider movement to be launched so that more and more people could be united against the Britishers. For this, he knew this couldn't happen until Hindus and Muslims to stand as a united way. For this, he wanted the cooperation of Muslims. For this, he thought to take up the Khilafat issue. Now let us learn what was this Khilafat issue. Now children, after the World War I, the Ottoman Turkey, it has to face the defeat. And now the rule says whichever country gets defeated, they'll have to pay the compensation. Some treaty is being signed, and there were rumors that the peace treaty which was going to happen with the Ottoman Turkey, that is going to be very harsh. And the rumors were that the harsh peace treaty was to be imposed upon the Ottoman emperor, who was respected to be as the spiritual head of the Islamic world. Now the Muslims from all over world, they wanted to restore the power. They wanted to regain the power of their spiritual head, who was the Khalifa. To defend the temporal powers of the Khalifa, a Khilafat committee was organized under the leadership of Muslim brothers Muhammad Ali and Shaukat Ali. And now, with the discussion of Mahatma Gandhi, they thought of to start up with a mass action on this issue. Gandhiji saw this as a good opportunity to bring Muslims under the umbrella of Unified National Movement. At the Calcutta session of the Congress in September 1920, Gandhiji convinced other leaders to start up with non-cooperation movement in support of Khilafat as well as to receive Swaraj. In his book, The Hind Swaraj, Gandhiji had declared that Britishers' rule was established in India because of the cooperation made by the Indians. He told if the Indians do not cooperate with the Britishers, within a year the British rule would collapse and they could achieve Swaraj. Now Mahatma Gandhi and other leaders decided that how this movement has to be started up with. They decided that the movement will unfold in stages. First they decided to return the titles which was awarded by the government, and then they thought of to boycott the civil services, army, police, the legislative council and the foreign goods. It was also decided that if the British government used any repressive measures against them, then they would launch a mass civil disobedience movement against them. And then Mahatma Gandhi and Shaukat Ali, they toured all over India to mobilize support for the non-cooperation movement. But many within the Congress, they were unwilling, they were reluctant to join the non-cooperation movement because they do not wanted to lose the elections which was scheduled in November 1920. They had a fear that this non-cooperation movement would lead to violence. As we have learned earlier also, children, there were those who wanted to gain more representation and they wanted to gain learning experiences under the Britishers. Now there was an intense tussle between the opponents and the supporters from the month of September till December 1920. And finally at the Nagpur session of the Congress in December 1920, a compromise worked out and they thought of to start up with the non-cooperation movement. By this we have come to an end of this unit, children. Be strong, be safe.